Good day, folks. Three events from last week. One extremely humiliating, which is the way the one that's right up there in my mind is the way our illegal immigrants were sent back, shackled, and the way the reaction of the U.S. Immigration Department and ICE is not. It's extremely demeaning. I know they're illegal there, right? But they're not criminals, right? I mean, firstly, let's say they were said that criminals will be sent back. And they're not criminals. They're 18 women, 4 children, right? And shackled all the way through a 40-hour journey on a military plane. First time probably it's happened because that's what I read, right? However, the first thing is elections. Who's going to win? If you know that the election commission is just an arm of the BJP, most likely what uh, the verdict seems to be, the polls seem to suggest that it's a landslide for the BJP after what happened in Maharashtra and in Haryana. One can believe that, right? So something tells me that Aam Aadmi will give them a tough fight, and maybe Congress may have done better than what everybody expects, right? But anyway, from there we move on to the budget. Budget was all about Bihar, but in Bihar you got to think about the way the Nilami was done during the assembly elections. Was any of that given to Bihar? Nothing really. One basic requirement for Nitish Kumar is he's been harping about the Central University Darja for Patna University, where they should get, but they're not getting, right? But hey, who's there? By 20 times Bihar was named for a lot of stuff which will get there, will not get there. Airports, new airports, renamed airports, and aims and no aims, and you don't know how much of that will be delivered, right? But this is for the Bihar election that's coming up. The other thing was the middle class, and since everybody was, so I'm wondering what's the middle class, right? And since everybody kept harping about the 12 lakhs and nobody's going to pay taxes on 12 lakhs, let's assume that everything from 0 to 12 lakhs is now considered middle class, right? That is really considered the middle class. So what do we have in the middle class, right? 12 lakhs, big deal, right? My accountant tells me that there was nothing in the budget because he didn't have to go to work on Sunday. That tells you a lot, right? But what does this 12 lakh tell you, right? There are only 7 crore 7 crore 52 or 7 crore 53 people who file returns, out of which 31 lakh 94,000 have an income of 0 to 1 lakh 50,000. Now, think about this, right? 83% of them, which is 6 crore 28 lakhs, have an income between up to 10 lakhs, right? With the bulk of them being in that range of 4.5 to 5 lakhs. Why am I picking up this 10 lakh range? The reason I'm picking up this 10 lakh range is because I'm told by my personal accountant that if you were in the old regime and you had all the necessary deductions, then till 10 lakhs you paid no taxes. So hey, this is only about the 62 lakh people all spread across the country, which is only 8% of the total, that this 12 lakhs will make some difference. And then also do remember there is a tax slab if you follow the old regime in the 5 to 10 and 10 to 12 range, or 4 to 8 and 8 to 12 range, right? But because the standard deduction has been lifted to 60 to 75,000, it seems that you're paying nothing, right? But the way they went on about Nehru and Modi in his one of his sabhas before the elections, that if they were paid 12 lakhs, you would have had to pay 25% to the government under Nehru and 90% under Indira Gandhi. But hey, what about the present value of money? What about the current value of money? How do you kind of configure that into this 12 lakhs? Let me just tell you, like, in 64, 80, 25, the figures that I have, dollar rupee was 4 rupees 76 paisa in 64, 6 rupees 61 paisa in 1980, and 87.49% now. Gold was 63.25 per tola in 64, 1300 per tola in 1980, and 84,495. That is that's almost a 1300% increase from 1964. So your income has to keep up with that, right? So, if you talk about 12 lakhs today, it probably means about 7.21 crores in 80 and about 80 crores in 1964, right? Which means if you're paying a tax, get this, in 64 of 25%, you'll still be left with 60 crores. If you're paying a tax of 90% in 1980, you'd still be left with 1.71 crores. As against what do you have today? A piddly 12 lakhs with rampaging inflation. Now look at what this does. Imports, the impact of when Manmohan Singh left, the dollar was 60. Now it's 87. Just imagine the impact on an import-centric country like us, which just only assembles. Doesn't really manufacture anything from scratch, except for some scooties and maybe some motorcycles and some tractors, right? And during this period, manufacturing has gone down from 15.5% to 12.6% of GDP. So, make in India, all that stuff really doesn't add up, right? And all that good old Prime Minister has to say is Congress bungled economy, Hindus got blamed for him because I guess it was called the Hindu rate of growth, right? Oh, man. And the other point that I want to tell you is during 64, wheat was 50 paisa per kilo and today it's 40 rupees per kilo. Go get that. The budget, did it do anything for any of these critical sectors? Education has come down from last year from 2.6% of budget to 2.53, which is a shame if you want to become a knowledge economy. Transport has come from 11.28 to 10.83. Rural development from 5.51 to 5.26. IT and telecom from 2.41 to 1.88. And still, medical. I don't have those numbers. But where I'm really upset about is what they've done to the armed forces. 6.81 lakh crore set aside for defense. Of the total allocation, 1.8 lakh crore has been earmarked for capital expenditure and modernization of armed forces, a meager 4.65% increase from previous budget estimate, which is way below the inflation rate. Rupee is rocking. Rupee slipped 16 paisa to close 87.59. Today it's just such a small piece. It's happening every day. Stop being a big item. This was a big item. Amid global tumult, rupee breaches 87 against dollar. This was some days ago. Rupee makes a new low at 87.48. That was yesterday. Rupee slumps 40 paisa in a day, hits a record low of 87.49. When are we going to keep hitting records? Now, the other worrisome thing is with manufacturing not in play, is services is what kept us going. Services PMI falls to lowest in 2 years. And why is this happening? Promoters continue to pay stakes even as stock prices fall. And the only thing doing anything for the top line of FMCG is this. Price hikes lift FMCG sales value 11% in Q3. That helps the the stocks, right? But it doesn't help the company in the long run. You need volumes. You need lots of volume, right? Britannia Q3 net rises 4.8% to 582 crores on price hikes. ITC Q3 net slipped 7% on cost surge. Asian Paints flags weak urban demand as Q3 earnings fade. Then you have Somnath Mukherjee tell you the budget as it is. He says the income tax cuts many ways. Short-term point, consumption's economic multiplier effect lower than capex. Long-term point, smaller income tax base means GST rates will remain high. Social contract between elite and government will weaken. He says, roll back on capex growth. Linearly, the math works something like this. Total tax break is around 1 lakh crore. That's clean cash transfer from treasury to private individuals. Beneficiaries will save some of the extra disposable income and spend the rest. It probably means that 1 lakh crore in their pocket means a 2 lakh crore incremental income, okay, based on the multiplier effect. But life is really linear. This tax break isn't free. It has had to be funded, likely by taking money off the capex budget. Indeed, for FY 2026, growth in capex budget of 10% is the lowest in 5 years. Lowest in 5 years, yeah. So, and Maithil Bushramnath says, the arithmetic underpinning the budget is iffy in a world where Trump is set to disrupt the world. There's the budget arithmetic then underpins these optimistic projections is critically dependent on one key assumption, the assumption regarding GDP growth in FY 26. And here, since for GDP growth, exports are critical, Trump, but it is on the external front that the FM is on more shaky ground. The advent of Donald Trump in the White House means everything is up in the air. From trade tariffs to inflation to a stronger dollar, Trump's baleful influence on the world economy, India included, is very real. Recall his proud boast, we are going to do things people will be shocked at, and the outlook looks grim. According to the World Bank, exports of goods and services accounted for approximately 22% of India's GDP growth. And look at India's Vishwaguru stats, the way our people were sent back. To make an example, that nobody else has been sent back. Let me just tell you the lies that were told by Jaishankar. The principal lie was that this is normal. It may be procedurally normal, but we've had 2 to 3 plane loads that have come back during Biden's time and landed in Gujarat, but very politely. No pomp and show about them, no shackles, no army planes. They were in civilian planes. Right? It's already been happening in Obama's time and in Biden's time. What has Trump done? Trump has shown us exactly where we stand, which the Forbes magazine anyway told us that in the top 10 most powerful nations, India is no longer there. Folks, no longer there. And why not? Because of this. Global Hunger Index, 94 out of 107. Oxfam Inequality Index, 129 out of 157. Water Quality Index, 120 out of 122. Air Quality Index, 179 out of 180. Happiness Index, 144 out of 156. Press Freedom Index, not too bad, 140 out of 180. Environment Performance Index, 167 out of 180. No wonder when you have this problem, people are running away because of the economic problems here, because of all these problems in India. They're selling big time. And look at how much they're selling. And it's not small amounts, right? A Gujarati family claims to have paid 1 crore to reach the United States. Okay. US plane brings 104 Indians, 99 from Haryana, Gujarat. But that's not just, I'm going to point this out, the mix of the people who returned. From Haryana, 31 male, 4 female for a total of 35. Gujarat, 15 male, 18 female for a total of 33. Punjab, 28 male, 3 female for a total of 31. Uttar Pradesh, 3 males, Maharashtra 2. So when the predominant amount, lots of Gujaratis, why was the plane landed in Amritsar? And to show that everybody, that maybe the message being sent is that they're all Punjabis or Sardars. They're not. They are equally problematic for Gujarat, right? And I'm told now Gujarat, they've all been taken to being investigated. Look at this huge. And look at what it says. Disquiet over cuffed US deportation. Engaging US government to ensure deportees are not mistreated. It's EM. They've been, besides this 40-hour shackled flight, they've been in detention for days. 10 days, this girl said. But what I want to tell you about is this. Most of the repatriate entered US via Mexico border in January. So how could Trump even think they are criminals? They don't have enough time to prove they are criminals, right? These are the easiest targets. They landed, they were picked up, and they were sent back. And sent back in such humiliating way. And Jaishankar has the audacity to lie in Parliament, right? And this is the other one. He says it's done for all the time. It's in the ICE memorandum in standard operating procedure. But look at this. Successful deportation of illegal aliens to India. First instance of US using handcuffs, military aircraft to send Indians back. Folks, do Google search and find out how many illegal immigrants were sent back during Biden time. And did you even get to know about it, right? And this is big. The way it's being done by Trump is to show India its place, to threaten Indians, don't come that route, right? Deportation in line with US norms, says EM in Parliament. Shackled, not allowed to move migrants, recount ordeal on flight. EAM, restraining deportees, not new, women not cuffed, and they were cuffed. We've seen that because right here we have another news item which says, but this is in the Hindu, women, children were handcuffed. Deportees had their feet tied with ropes and they would had to be shackled and went to that one bathroom, right? And thrown in there. Center plays down US handling of deportees. What's wrong with us, right? Look at what Colombia, small country, did. He returned the aircraft. He didn't let it land, the army aircraft. It went back to the United States. Trump threatened. True. Colombia gave in, but he treated his illegal immigrants as human beings. He sent his own planes, his own people to pick up these illegal immigrants and bring them back to Colombia. And he made a point to tell Trump that they were not criminal. Okay, they were better than the Americans. They were not criminal. Okay. Amid deportations, Indian students in US face random checks by officers in uniform. Indians are now fair target because of what Ramaswamy did. said, right? And this is what's going to happen. And I'm not sure what Jaishankar is going to do, because all he can do is US doubles down on deportations amid outrage over shackled Indian immigrants returned on military plane. What do they say? I can share that enforcement on nation's immigration law is critically important to the national security and public safety of the United States. It is the policy of the United States to faithfully execute the immigration laws against all inadmissible, removable aliens. This, folks, is completely stretched and overdone. I'll tell you why. Opposition slams inhuman treatment of migrants by US attacks government. Must absolutely keep attacking the government. Opposition attacks government over inhumane deportation by the United States. Now, look at what happened to, if you remember, Khobragade. She was picked up and shackled and handcuffed in New York. Manmohan Singh withdrew all security to the US embassy in Delhi. And guess what happened next? She was released and allowed to come home. Trump, that's strength. Trump can't fly them all back, writes Dan Casino. And what's it all about? He says putting migrants on commercial flights back to their countries of origin is cheaper, but using military transport jet looks better. There's no real reason to put migrants in shackles and chains once they're on the flights, but it shows Trump's political base how tough the administration is going. All this is smoke and mirrors, symbolism over substance, because the real issue isn't that there are millions of undocumented migrants in US, but that US needs millions of workers. Our outdated, inefficient immigration system can't provide. This is the most important part. But why target India, right? Don't we have the guts and glory, right? This is the other thing that you're going to have to worry about. Narcotics network backing infiltrators in JK Shah. But what he forgets to tell you is the biggest hauls in the last 10 years have been in Gujarat, in Adani port, right? Not only that, let me just tell you, a Gujarati pharmaceutical company, the owner of that is in prison in the United States for supplying, get this, supplying a compound that makes fentanyl to the cartels in Mexico. I think the cartel is Salmonella or something like that in Mexico. And he's been nabbed. And apparently there are many pharma companies in Gujarat that are doing the same thing. Watch out, right? But what are the US looking for, right, at the end of it? Ahead of PM Trump meet India, USI ambitious defense ties. Buy. But what we need is this under Trump. Tata Electronics to expand North America ops, hire for manufacturing business. You need to move in there, right? Mahindra & Mahindra needs to expand its small tractor manufacturing. Expanding energy ties, buying more US oil on Modi-Trump meet agenda. And that's the reason Ambani was there at the inauguration. This is definitely going to happen, because he's going to squeeze us, force us to cut Russian oil. All the sanctions on the ships have also taken place. So this is the other one. Rajnath, new US Defense Secretary, discuss cooperation. Stryker infantry vehicle deal with the US Progress Javelin to be re-demonstrated. We need this stuff. But manufacturing, co-production in India is important. And look at this. Government scraps deals for 400 defense drones with Chinese parts were primarily meant for LAC deployment. And, like the S-400 I've been telling you, China has it, it's hacked. So it's absolutely no good to you for incoming missiles from China. I can guarantee you that. But these drones now, obviously, look at this. Over the past year, Indian Army drones have been hacked in at least 2 instances in border of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, according to a report. Is there any doubt why that's happening? Because of the Chinese components, obviously, right? Then Chabahar port, now again back in play. India studying US memo on modifying sanctions waiver for Chabahar port. No word from government on US cancelling Chabahar waiver. Congress practices politics of appeasement, says Modi and RS. And this is about the UCC. The UCC, folks, hurts Hindus more than it hurts the Muslim. And let me even tell you this. And obviously the tribals. Tribals are always going to be excluded, like they've been done from the UCC in Uttarakhand. Right? What good is this UCC? How does it help you and me, right? To make such a big deal about it, right? Nothing. What is going to affect is what Vance said, that he's going to go after every country which mistreats its minority religions. And there comes this. Christian group in Arunachal Pradesh to go on fast from February 10th against implementation of anti-conversion law. And then you have this huge problem that you're having in with Trump. US allies, foes, and Palestinians all reject Trump's Gaza takeover talk. On the Gaza waterfront, Trump's West Asia solution may have a strategy, if not method in its madness. And what's America doing to itself? When America goes to war against itself, says Prashant Jha, Donald Trump is attacking the US state ideology and institutions. The destruction is clear. The regeneration is yet to be seen. And then you have, with what is happening in Gaza, what's happening in the Middle East, the way the Middle Eastern GCC countries are reacting against this plan of Trump to take over Gaza, this probably is going to be difficult to hold. West Asia crisis must not be allowed to undermine IMF. But what is embarrassing this week, with budget going nowhere, Delhi results out tomorrow probably, as the exit polls suggest, a victory for the BJP. But the most humiliating part has been the way our detainees have been turned back. They didn't deserve that. For a country that thinks it's Vishwaguru, this was a slap on the face. 3 cheers and Jai Hind.